What's good, YouTube boxing fans all over the world? It's your boy Real Talk Boxing. We back at you again. I want to talk about Dillian Whyte. Dillian Whyte was interviewed by London Real about 3 days ago. And London Real asked him about three particular fighters: Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, and Deontay Wilder. He started out by asking, why are these guys ducking you? Why do they seem like they don't want to fight you? And Dillian's response was, I don't know. You know, they all have something negative to say about me. I can't fight. I'm sluggish. I'm slow, and I don't have good skill. But he said, if that was the case, why wouldn't they want to fight me? He said the reason why they don't want to fight me is because I bring, what was his exact words? He brings violence each time he fights. And he's like, AJ fought, me and AJ fought. AJ won. He said, but I had spots in that fight, and AJ knows that I can hurt him. I honestly don't think AJ is afraid to fight him again, in my opinion. But, Dillian Whyte knows best because he's faced him. And he asked about Tyson Fury. And he says, was it true that you left him crying in the ring after sparring? He says, listen, we both have done a lot of sparring with each other, he said, and there was days where he had good days and there's days where I had good days. He said, but Tyson Fury knows that I can hurt him. He said, I like to bring the pain to the body. He said, I like to invest in the body, and I can hurt Tyson Fury to the body. I've been saying it for years. Instead of going to his head, go to his body. He's a big guy, a big frame, so why not chop down the body, which is very, very intelligent for a boxer to do against Tyson Fury, because Tyson Fury has really good head movement. So why don't you shoot your targets or shoot at a target that doesn't move? So Dillian Whyte says, all I'm going to do is target the body, and sooner or later I get him out of there. And which may or may not be true, but I don't think Dillian has any reason to lie about the sparring. He's, most fighters, if you ask them if they sparred, usually if it's in the ring, once in the ring, it stays in the ring. But a lot of fighters aren't humble enough to admit that they got beat, whether it's in a ring or sparring. But he said, hey, we sparred a lot. He had his good days, I had mine. So I think that's another way of telling people, no, I didn't leave him crying, but I know that I can hurt him. And I know that I had good days in our sparring matches as well as he did. And last and definitely least, in this situation, he was asked about Deontay Wilder. He was asked if he had any respect for Deontay Wilder. He said, I didn't respect Deontay Wilder when he was WBC champion. I don't respect him now that he's not. He said, and even more so, I don't respect him because of, a couple of excuses he made, walking 40 meters to the dressing room to the ring in a 40-pound suit. He said, he went out there in an all-black suit and Black History Month and got embarrassed on Black History Month. He said that, London asked him, well, what about his power? Do you respect all the knockouts he's gotten? He says, listen, no, not at all. And I've told you guys time and time again, it's easy to be 20-0 with 20 knockouts. It's easy. It just depends on who they put in front of you. So he says, I don't respect him. He said, listen, he has power. He can knock people out, but I don't respect him whatsoever. He says, no respect for Mr. Deontay Wilder. None whatsoever. And I remember Deontay Wilder making statements like, a king doesn't go see the peasants. The peasants come and see the king. Anyway, and then he was asked about, AJ was reported to be coming to your fight against Povetkin. Should you win that fight, he heard AJ was going to come into the ring. He said, well, what do you feel about that? And Dillian was like, man, listen, anybody can get it at this point. And if AJ wants to jump in the ring and make a mistake and get in my face, he might just get it just then and there. He says, there's no telling what my emotions are going to be after that fight. He said, this Povetkin fight is not going to be an easy fight, but it's a fight that he knows he will win. But if AJ gets in the ring and he wants to jump stupid, which I don't think AJ will do. AJ is a real respectful guy. Dillian is he's a little bit of a loose cannon from time to time. He kind of got buck wild in the AJ fight. You know what I'm saying? But I like Dillian, and I believe that he's been ducked and dodged for I don't know how long. And I believe that he stands a chance to become a world champion, whether it's WBC or a unified champion, if you're not careful. So if any of the top three get in the ring, well, he is the top three. If any of the top two get in the ring with him, and they don't show up, they just might get laid out. They just might get beat by Dillian Whyte. But anyway, that's just my opinion on this. You let me know what you think. I'm a fan of Dillian Whyte, and I hope to see him with a strap one of these days. It doesn't matter who he beats to obtain it. I just want to see him with the strap because I like the dude. He's scrappy, you know. And I would honestly like to see him in there with Tyson Fury, man, to bang that body up, which you never see anybody do. So take heed to what he's saying. Any future opponents against Tyson Fury, go to that big body, man. Go to the big body. As always, respect all, fear none. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel. And share if you want to, man. Respect all, fear none. As always, God bless.